Oh, it is recording. I wasn't sure it had started. Good evening, everyone. So today, well, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm Esther. Obviously, you would know because it's on the picture. I don't know why I felt the need to say that. This is my first faith episode, specifically. I've done a couple of fitness episodes, and there's been something playing in my head a little while that I'm like, that's an interesting and quite amusing thing to ponder. And I feel like I've had some lovely, lovely revelation about it, whether it is specifically from God or just my own thoughts on it. I don't really know, but I think it's encouraging, and it's not something I'd ever thought of until recently, and it really caught me off guard and kind of amused me and was comforting. So the title of this is called Heart or Liver. In that, my question is, I, does Jesus care more about the heart or the liver? Well, obviously the heart. It doesn't mean he doesn't care about the liver, but I think this passage uh, shows Jesus's priorities in quite an amusing way that I'd never seen it that way before. So I'm going to read the passage. I haven't done a big, deep study on it. It's just one that I've known and thought of since I was little, really. I did have a quick scan, but I'm going to read it now so that you'll know what I'm talking about. It's not that long. Bear with me. I think it's kind of funny. So it's in John 2, in the New Testament, verses 1 to something. I gotta be honest, I have not picked up a Bible in a while, but this passage has just been playing in my head and I've been having thoughts about it. So I was like, well, let me record them. Maybe they'll encourage someone. Okay. On the third day, a wedding took place at Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no more wine." That reminds me of Captain Jack Sparrow. He's like, "Why is the rum always gone?" I'm like, "Oh no, why is the wine always gone?" So the wine is gone. They have no more wine. So this is, what translation is this? TNIV. TNIV. And it says, "Woman, why do you involve me?" To me, that looks like he's saying, "It's not my problem." Like, what do you want me to do about it? Jesus hasn't done any miracles or public miracles or whatever at this point. "Woman, why do you involve me?" Jesus replied, "My hour is not yet come." So he's like, "Mom, it's not time yet." His mother ignores him, apparently. His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." It's like, okay, yes, dear, I know. Yeah, I guess Jesus is honoring the wishes of his mother. So do you think he's a mama's boy? I don't think so. But obviously he loved his mom, Anyway, just some side thoughts. So his mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you to do." Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding from 80 to 120 litres. That's massive, I think. But I feel like that's very big. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." They did so, and the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He did not realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink. But you have saved the best till now." What Jesus did here in Cana of Galilee was the first of the signs through which he revealed his glory, and his disciples put their faith in him. There are many funny things about this that I had not considered growing up. Obviously, I didn't consider it because I didn't drink wine, and now I do. I love wine. Wine is good. So the first thing that stood out to me recently was that Jesus is giving wine to people who are already drunk. So while I don't think anywhere Jesus condones and encourages drunkenness, we all know a lot of alcohol is bad for the liver. It's not a good thing to put your liver through. And it can be really destructive when you're addicted to it. Yet he was making a lot of alcohol. Have you noticed how big those jars were? And that they were filled to the brim. So abundance, a lot of alcohol, a lot of wine for people who were already drunk. It says at the beginning, on the third day, a wedding took place at Cana. I don't know if that means it's the third day of the wedding or third day of the week. Like, I don't know. But it sort of suggests that they've been drinking a while because supposedly this is now when they bring out the cheap wine because everyone's already drunk and now they're like, oh, this is so tasty. So part of me wonders, like, well, also this initially wasn't the plan, you know? It doesn't seem like Jesus's intentions or will or plan A was to be doing that miracle necessarily. But his mum's like, they're out of wine. Jesus is like, woman, why? Well, it's not my problem. It's not time. But somewhere the consequence of Jesus enabling all these people to continue drinking and ruining their livers was maybe not a bigger deal to him as the consequence of dishonoring his mother. And that gets really, really messy if you think about it, because, you know, we're called to honor our mother and father, but we're also not really supposed to destroy our liver or encourage other people to do that, or generally lie, steal, cheat, whatever. And this sort of paints a really hazy line between what is moral and what is good. Now, I don't think there is a line, but I think our understanding of the line is not perfect, basically. So Jesus is like, oh, I need to honor my mother, but I don't really, like, think about what the extra wine could do. Like, Jesus knows that rowdiness, drunkenness, vomiting, destroyed livers, possible adultery, possible violence. I mean, hopefully not, probably not. Maybe he wouldn't have if he knew that stuff was going to happen. But so was it the honoring of his mother that made him make the call that in order to do this good thing, these people's livers can suffer some more? Or was it the reputation of the bridegroom? That, I don't know, this, I think I heard someone mention this, I can't remember where or when, but that, you know, the reputation of the bridegroom would be seriously, like, bad if at his own wedding they ran out of wine to serve their guests. Like, that seems like a disaster. It would be, you know, you can imagine at a wedding you run out of food for your guests and there's not enough dessert to go around or whatever. You'd be like, I mean, you would, I'm thinking maybe they weren't already drunk, but I get the impression that they are, that there's already been a lot of wine, and I believe these weddings last more than a day. I could be wrong about this specific culture. I don't know the Cana in Galilee wedding traditions, to be honest, but I believe in general the festivals and the celebrations lasted a week or something. I don't know, in some cultures. So, you know, was Jesus caring about the heart of the host and the bridegroom and the bride? You know, did he care more about their reputation in their home and their village than he did about the drunk behavior and the poisoned livers? So what was it? I don't know the answer. I am literally just pondering. But I've always felt like, not always, because, well, no, not always, but often I would feel really, really guilty if I got a bit tipsy. I don't tend to drink much. I don't like being drunk. It doesn't feel good. It's not good for me. I don't condone it. But if I have a bad day and I happen to have got a bit tipsy, I don't really beat myself up over it anymore, because I think I'm at peace about where Jesus' priorities are, and that he cares more about my heart and the fact that I've had a horrid day, and maybe he might want to deal with some of the reasons why I felt the need to just keep drinking my sorrows away, or to, numb the pain. Like, I think he's more interested in conversing with me and partnering with me and finding out and growing me and teaching me what's the pain under this, and how can I help you, how can I support you, and how can I partner with you to move out of this. I don't think he's busy reminding me that I shouldn't drink that much, because we all know, you know? Like, I don't think that's the issue. The issue and the reason that I drank too much that day is probably rooted in an unhelpful thought or feeling or action that happened earlier that day, or a heart attitude, or a pain that I'm processing. And I genuinely feel now that Jesus is more interested in addressing that than he is telling me off for drinking too much. And I've only recently had that peace. And it doesn't mean that I now just drink too much whenever I want, because, like, no one here is saying that that's a good thing. Well, no one here, as in me. I don't think it's a good thing, but I don't think it's the focus. Given looking at this passage, and when you look at drunkenness behavior in the context of relationships and people, and maybe where Jesus' priorities were, I don't know if he was prioritizing his mom or the host or someone else that I don't even know about, but I think he was dealing with heart attitudes and values higher and more important than what we do to our liver. Yeah, like honoring his mom, protecting the bridegroom's reputation. And that was just really fresh for me. And weirdly enough, so my parents brought me up brilliant. They're actually fantastic, but they're not perfect. No one is. And I was brought up very, very, very strict, and I did feel like guilty for everything that I would do wrong. And now I feel like I'm not saying that the wrong things that I do are okay. I'm saying that Jesus is going to try and probably address whatever the heart issue and the root issue is that made me feel like I need to act that way or act out in that way. There's no point just telling me off, because how's that going to fix anything? How's that going to grow anything? You know. So it was probably a couple years, maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, and we were still in South Africa, and I deliberately went out and got pretty drunk. I was like, I don't even care. I need this night. I know it's wrong. I'm going to block out any kind of conviction from Jesus, and I'm going to go and drink for fun. I can't remember what kind of place I was in. Obviously, I was a bit screwed up, having a bad day or whatever. And when my husband picked me up after our night out, I genuinely felt zero, like, naughty corner from God. I felt like the same way if my son came home drunk and crying, I wouldn't be lecturing him on how much he's drunk. I'd be asking what's wrong, what's going on, like what led you to this, and we'd be dealing with stuff. And for the first, like, it's probably the most I've ever experienced, not the most, but one of the most I've ever experienced the tangible love of God, because I knew that I'd deliberately done something that he didn't generally condone, and I was rebelling on purpose to be a naughty girl and whatever. And he knew my brokenness and he knew my pain and he knew my heart. And he was like, I get it, you know, come back when you're done. Yeah. And I'm not saying there aren't consequences to actions, you know, like obviously there are. I got a headache. That wasn't fun. And obviously, if you get addicted and you go down roads, there are bigger and bigger consequences. And I hope you can grasp what I'm trying to suggest, that I don't think Jesus is condoning drinking, but I think we might get a bit caught up, and not just with alcohol, but I think in general, we might get a bit caught up on what the surface sin, I'm putting exclamation marks because, sin, that's a whole other topic. Oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, we can get so caught up on what the surface level of the action of the sin looks like that we completely miss the work and the brokenness and the pain and the stuff going on underneath that is leading to that. And I think as a people, God wants to redirect our focus to, yeah, I get it, that's awful, don't do that. But underneath, why is someone doing that? What kind of pain are they in? What kind of situation are they in? Okay, they're selfish, blah, blah, blah. Okay, why are they selfish? What happened to them? What are they trying to survive? What are they trying to cope with that means that they make these bad choices or make these bad decisions? And just be gracious to people the way Jesus is gracious to us. Yeah, the reason I say this whole thing of, you know, sin in exclamation marks is, you know, on the surface, we all say lying and deception. Pretty sinful, pretty bad. Like, don't do that. You know, the devil is the deceiver. But I can't remember who said this, but it blew my mind a little bit. You look at Rahab and I think Caleb and someone else was with him. Was it Joshua? I don't know. So these two Israelite spies that are going into the city, spying it out. Oh, shoot, I can't remember the name of the city now. But so they're going in and spying, and they're hiding, I think, at a prostitute's house. And the prostitute lies and deceives the guards, I think. The guards or whoever it is that's trying to get rid of these spies. And as a result, when that city is destroyed, Rahab, the lying, deceiving prostitute, is the only person, her and, did she have a son? I can't remember. And her family, was it the people, the family that were with her that all survived? I can't remember. I haven't reread that one in a little while. But either way, Rahab the prostitute, who lied and deceived authorities to protect the lives of spies, was saved. And like, this was seen as, okay, she did a good thing. She was brave. She protected Caleb and Joshua from the bad people. And it just, like, generally lying and deception is bad. I don't think anyone would really argue with that. But I think we've got to be careful now with the black and white statements and the quick to conclude from a situation. Yes, Rahab is probably the exception, but they exist still, you know. So yeah, you know, I do believe in some black and white. I do. I just don't know if I know what it all is yet. Of course, I believe in truth, and you know, if someone shows me a blue pen, I believe it's blue. Just if I want it to be red, it doesn't make it red. I get that. You know, there are certain things. Jesus is the way, the truth, the life. You know, there are certain foundations that I don't question or ponder too much because, yeah. But there is a lot that I thought of one way once, and now I'm like seeing it in a whole other light. And it's not that one is right or wrong so much, it's that it's just more. It's more perspective and more revelation and more understanding and growing and learning and blah, 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 blah. So I think I have talked enough. Yeah, almost 20 minutes. I hope that the phone noises that have gone off don't I should probably put my phone on silent next time I do this in case they are catching. So if you did hear those notifications, I'm very sorry. Next time I will, silence my phone. There we go again. Let me just do that now, just while I'm wrapping up, just in case. So yeah, I call this one heart or liver because I think as people we can get caught up trying to fix the liver problem. And I don't think we will be able to unless we let Jesus fix the heart problem. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I really hope it can encourage you to not hide from Jesus when you think you've done something less than perfect. Like, I get trapped in all kinds of unhealthy thinking often, and the temptation can be, I'm not qualified to do a podcast on the Bible because I just had this terrible thought, or I just had a can of cider and oh no, I did just have a can of cider, by the way, with a meal. So I have no bad convictions there. if you have an issue, feel free to talk to me, but I don't have an issue. Lost my train of thought again. Oh yeah, I hope it can, instead of sort of the temptation when we feel like we've done something bad is to sort of be like, oh, I couldn't possibly be used by God, or I couldn't possibly go work with him and partner with him and do what he's calling me to do or whatever because I failed in this area. But I think that's the very thing that will be part of what gets you through any of that unhealthy thinking or unhealthy actions, or I made this bad decision, therefore I cannot I can't do a podcast and tell people about Jesus. And it's like, well, actually I need to run to Jesus and I need to partner with him and what he's doing and not just hide from him while I try and fix my own crap, because I can't. So be encouraged that he can deal with your crap. It feels weird saying that because part of me still feels like I'd have to hide from him, but I'm from like old muscle memory, but I'm learning more and more that he's big enough and able enough to cope and to love me through whatever junk I have and whatever I'm still working through, and whatever bad decisions that I make, he doesn't leave, which is nice. So that's enough from me for this evening. I have many, many things to say. So many stories. I'm so excited to do this. This is great therapy for me as well, by the way. Just, talking to an empty room. It's fabulous. But I really hope that whoever is listening, reach out and connect with me and let me know what you thought. And because I love connecting. I love conversing. So as much as I do love to just talk, I like to listen and hear back as well, Okay, so everyone have a lovely evening, and chat to you soon. Bye.